What's up, everybody? I always start the videos the same way. Just wait for some people to come in. Doing another straight razor shave today. Going to be joined by Seth, Jesus of V. Oh, here he is. Send a request. Oops, wrong button. What's up, everybody? How's it going? How's it going? How's it going? Doing another straight razor shave today. What's up, buddy?
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing the thing, man. I'm hanging in there.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So we're doing a straight razor shave today with Johnny.
Likewise.
What's up, Ken? Good afternoon.
Is yours in the C4 base?
I believe so, yeah. It doesn't say it on here because it's, a sample, but I'm pretty sure it is.
All right. Well, I'm also using my Evo. This is not an Evo. This is an Omega brush, but we're doing this for We Love You Raza Week, and is that what they're calling it?
Yep.
Okay. And in his post with Johnny, he uses an Omega Evo, so that's why I chose to use this brush. But yeah, I'll also be using pretty much the razor that you're getting, just so I can kind of talk about it a little bit.
Yes. The Schlittplatt. Is that how you say it?
I don't know.
So I'm just lathering right now.
What?
I'm just lathering up right now. I didn't get totally prepped yet, but
I'm ready to go. So, I'll wait till you. Actually, I don't know how long you lather for. So,
not that long.
I may want to start because,
Sure.
well, I don't know. We can talk for a second, right?
Yeah.
I gotta. Have you ever had the limoncello LaCroix?
No. I've had limoncello, but not LaCroix.
That's what's in this, and I've got. It's essentially like a vodka soda, but it's very good.
Nice.
So this is kind of random. Let me see. While you're lathering up, I had to, after many years of owning a Oral-B, I got my first Sonic Care brush.
Okay.
So that came in the mail today. They're so sick though, like when you put it on the stand, like the little sonic noise, it goes like neat neat, and it's like super satisfying haptic feedback.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to using it. You gotta let them charge for like 24 hours beforehand, but I don't know if you have to, but I'm gonna do it.
I don't think I've used one of the. I mean, I've used an electric toothbrush, but it's like some garbage thing.
No, I will not be lathering with that Sonic Care. I'll be lathering toothpaste on my teeth. So yeah, in that live stream yesterday, Dougie was a little bit concerned about the square tip that you're getting, and I think that it's going to be okay. He said it'll learn you in a hurry, but I don't know. I just think that you're going to get essentially the same experience if you mute the tip on it. If I mute the tip on it,
Yeah.
um, that you would with like a round tip razor.
Okay.
But I put a fresh edge on this today because I can. I used tape because the edge was starting to degrade a little bit, like while I was using it before. So, you know. So what are we doing? You doing a little bowl lather or a face lather? What's going on?
Yeah, I was doing a little bowl lather. I'm ready to go.
Okay, I'll get started. This lather's pretty much ready to go, so. What's up, Marion? DK? Good to see you guys. Alright, so are you still using the Thayers for your lather?
Yep.
What does that actually do? I'm really not sure.
I was under the impression, and several people have said that using that instead of the water just helps reduce any possible irritation you might get.
Okay. I've never tried it, so I can't really knock it.
Scent on this Johnny is great.
Mm-hmm. It, I've said this many times before, but it reminds me of Be Delicious by DKNY. It was really popular back in the like late 2010s or like early 2000s, that time when I was in high school. It's like it was kind of marketed mostly towards like women, but the apple note in it is very similar in my opinion. Yeah, I'm gonna leave this like it is. Pretty good. So, what's your experience been so far with using straight razors? Like, have you noticed anything that you like, that you dislike, any benefits?
Just the ability to get super close, without actually cutting yourself. I got a little nick yesterday, but it's nothing crazy. So
Yeah, those nicks will definitely happen. They kind of come with the territory, but um, sometimes it's just a weeper, you know.
yeah,
But I find that for me personally, it's my favorite way to get a super close shave. It's the most efficient way for me. Well, it's the most fun way. I wouldn't say it's the most efficient way because I do have really efficient razors. Um, so I don't know how much theirs you've sprayed on that lather of yours, but I would drench it and paint it in there before you get going because that'll help you keep your lather wet. Like I almost like it to where it's like kind of like dripping. Yeah. Good to see all you guys. Thanks for coming by. Let's see. Sorry, I got a little hangnail here.
yeah, we'll see. I've only been using the Thayers like that recently, and I mean, I haven't really noticed a massive difference, to be honest.
You know, if it helps you sleep better at night, I'm not gonna take that away from you, you know? Like, I'm not talking to you directly.
No,
I'm
yeah,
talking
yeah,
to
yeah.
like, the people who recommended it. All right. Well, what do you think, man? You feel like you got what it takes today?
Let's do it.
Have you done any like is this going to be like your first time doing 2 straight razor shaves in a row?
It will be, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
okay, that'll be a new experience for you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing how this edge goes. So, I finished this on my Wakasa, and I'm going to try to be mindful of the tip so I don't get another scar today. Yeah, let's do it. Wow, it's super silent. I can't wait till you get to experience the steel on these because it just feels amazing.
In comparison to the gold dollar?
Yeah, it's gonna have a thinner grind, which is gonna make it feel more comfortable on your face.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I don't, I can't really speak for the edge that's on that. Frank does fantastic edges, but with good steel comes great edges. So, you know, it'll be a new experience for you. So, have you come across any like technique stuff that you're maybe unsure about or anything like that? Like, well, if anything comes up, just let me know
Sure.
and I'll try to coach you through it.
I mean, not really, just getting the angle right, I guess, is the hardest part.
I think the the key to getting your angle right is to it may take a more polished technique to master that situation. I don't know what you're talking about.
I think he's talking about technique in general.
Oh, okay. Got you. Anyway, so you can always go, I think it's better to go more shallow, like keeping the spine closer to your skin,
Mm-hmm.
than it is to having it more perpendicular to your skin. But in some places like your chin, you're going to have to kind of come at it at an angle where it isn't close to your skin because of the arc of your chin, you know?
Mm-hmm. It's definitely more satisfying when you can actually feel it cutting through.
Yeah, for sure. Are you noticing after stropping it today if there's any improvement in the edge?
Yeah. I did a little bit more than 25, and it seems a lot more efficient.
Looks like we're inspiring at least DK to want a straight razor shave. That's cool. You know, I thought about inviting other people, but I don't know. It's kind of a last minute thing.
No, I got you.
I'm certain that if anyone else wants to come on and do it, it'd probably be okay.
Yeah, you're more than welcome. Just send a request. Come on. Don't be shy, as Mark would say.
You look like you're really getting your footing, so. Oh, that's an interesting way to hold it. I've never even considered that. Not like interesting, like it's a bad thing. It's interesting and like I wish I would have thought of that kind of way.
I saw somebody doing that because they were trying to get the scales out of the way, and I guess it rides the arm really well, so it kind of gets it out of your way. Especially because my hair on the bottom grows in the opposite direction.
Oh, like it grows up?
Yeah, the very bottom.
Yeah, mine too. That's why I go north to south, mostly, and then like across the grain for my second pass.
Yep.
And then like south to north. What's up, Art? Ugh. All right. You heard it here, folks. Ken says that I have a pretty nice stroke when no one else is home.
I'm just reading some of the comments.
Guys, if you were expecting Dougie Fresh, you're sadly mistaken. We are quiet, reserved dudes. We're just cool like that. So temper your expectations. We had a good conversation about cinema the other night.
Yeah.
I kind of laid it all out on the line, like as far as like what my tastes are and stuff. But are you like a big horror movie buff or?
I watch everything.
Okay.
Horror, documentary, you name it. Action.
Have you seen the new Channel 5 documentary, This Place Rules?
No, I haven't.
You know Andrew Callahan from Channel 5?
I think so. I know the name.
He was once All Gas, No Brakes. Now he does Channel 5.
Okay.
That's interesting you don't know who he is, because
I probably
like
know the face. If I saw the face, I'd be like, oh yeah.
Jonah Hill helped direct that with A24. So
Okay, yep.
yeah.
A24 is a good studio house.
I think this might be my favorite edge that I put on this razor, and I'm likely going to put a similar one on yours.
And what did you use for that?
I used my 3K to reset the bevel. Fortunately, my 3K is aggressive enough to do that. Then I moved to a 6K or 2 micron synthetic stone from Nanohone, And then I moved up to my Wakasa, which is that house-shaped stone that I got recently from Kirk from the Cutthroat Journey. And I used my Tenju, Majiro, and that green and gray stone on it. And it was just like the perfect combo of everything. Just looked super refined at the edge. And it's translating to a very comfortable and smooth shave. But also it's extremely sharp. That's like the ideal, you know, like yesterday my arc edge that I used is probably not as sharp as this.
Yeah.
But it's close, you know. I used a rate. How's the cut healing? It's healing well. I've been using this Mederma stuff on it, and it seems to be working. I'm also using some La Roche-Posay product as well. We've got like B5, this botanical that helps with like healing. I just shaved right over it, so it's already healed. It's actually lightened up a lot. Just to reiterate, it was from this razor, a square tip. One of the products that I use contains calendula.
I love calendula. Something about that and chamomile just makes my skin really soft.
Oh, do you have Lucky Tiger? That's a product that contains both of those things.
Interesting. I do not have Lucky Tiger.
Lucky Tiger Balm or face tonic is actually really lovely. This stuff here, I've had this for like a very long time, like going on almost 10 years. Oh. My towel fell. Okay. Wait, how were you doing that earlier? How you were holding it? Like this? Like that?
So the scales run along the forearm, and then the thumb sits on just beneath the blade. So you can guide with your knuckle as well.
So like this.
Yep. Yeah. You seem to have a lot of control like that too.
Oh yeah. I feel a little bit not as like I almost said stiff, but I knew that everyone was gonna be like, "Oh, stiff! He said stiff, Woody, boner." But yeah, I do feel a little bit stiff doing it that way. Oh, that's never happened. Got a little cut there. This is a very sharp edge. Are these wooden scales? Yes.
There it is. He said stiff. How are you supposed to hold it down there when you're going in the reverse direction on the neck?
So like, there are two ways. You can hold it like this, which is like a reverse grip with your right hand, or you can hold it. Let's see, how would I do it? or like this with your left hand.
Okay.
Like that.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I've never had this razor cut me like that before. It's a very, very sharp edge. Kind of scary.
Scary sharp.
Alright, this one will definitely react well to the styptic. If I can find it. What the hell have I done with it? Oh, here we go. Oh, One Sharp Sally's here. Haven't seen her in a long time. Good to see you, Lindsay. Yeah, DK, this would be probably your bread and butter, buddy. I owe you a really, really disgustingly sharp edge. I think it's because this lather's trying to dry out on me a little bit. Whenever that happens, I just like spray water on and then paint so it gets closer to my skin.
Mm-hmm.
Like so.
So in that sprayer, you just have regular water?
It's not just any water, it's well water.
Ah.
No, it's very hard water. I have super hard water here.
Mm-hmm. Like one of the other recommendations was distilled water, I think it was.
So distilled water is completely different. That's actually extremely soft water. Distilled water likes to bubble up a lot. You know, doing these buffing strokes with this fresh edge is maybe not the best idea. I have to be really careful about the angle and the pressure that I use.
Right. Thanks, Carlos. Yeah, I mean, it got a lot closer. I tried not to go too crazy yesterday, just because I wanted to see how it would go today. And it's definitely a lot closer than it was yesterday, but I did strop it like 2.5 times as much.
Hmm. Was that scary for you at all?
What's that?
Like, stropping it more?
No. Well, I mean, not necessarily scary, but I always feel like I'm going to roll the edge by accident.
That's what I mean. Like, it's much harder to do than you would think. I feel like people kind of overblow that a bit.
Yeah. Because I always feel like going into it, because I have a bunch of pocket knives, so I know how easy it is to make those dull if you're not careful.
Mm-hmm.
So I always feel like it's going to be the same with a straight, but.
What kind of pocket knives do you enjoy?
All different kinds. I've got a bunch. Right now on me, I've got, here's Flick. Ken's in the chat, Ken Onion.
What is that?
That's the CRKT Ken Onion.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Home front. And you can...
Sorry, I'm
That's well.
Rinsing
You
my
can
face.
disassemble the knife here and clean it.
Oh, nice. I have owned a couple CRKTs, but they always get stolen. It's like the #1 stolen knife. I've like found CRKT knives like just like laying in like a parking lot.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of them are so cheap, so it's like, who cares if you actually, if you lose it, you could just get another one.
You know the M14 or the M16 or whatever model that it. You know what I'm talking about? It
Mm-hmm.
looks like a dagger almost. Like it's got like the two guards. I've had one of like two of those actually, but I kind of stick to Spyderco now.
Quality. Love Spyderco.
What do you own? Many or any Spydercos?
Just one. I don't remember what it's called, but it's a smaller one.
Do you know what steel it's made out of?
I don't, off the top of my head. I have a bunch of Benchmade. I have a bunch of CRKT, a couple Emerson.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Emerson's are sweet.
Yes.
I've been meaning to buy an Emerson. Bye, Lindsay.
Paratroopers. Yeah.
Wait, who's talking about paratroopers?
Chris Smith.
Oh.
Paratroopers. I'm trying to remember what those are.
I don't know if I've... Is that an Emerson model? I don't know.
I think it might be.
The paramilitary...
I was going to say, yeah.
Spyderco. That rings a bell.
I wanted the paramilitary too in camo. Do either of you have a preferred knife steel? Yeah,
I do.
I do too. What's yours?
So, I feel like I need to kind of give some context on why. Now, I would mostly prefer more simple carbon steels for like most stuff. Like in the kitchen, I like stainless, not German stainless. I like more like wear resistant stainless, like CDP 189, stuff like that.
Just showing what I'm
Nice.
using for splash.
I've got the fragrance for Johnny, which I'm going to put on after this.
Yep.
And let's see. For like a pocket knife, I currently carry K390, which is it's like a high wear resistant tool steel. I really enjoy that. It's got a super fine microstructure. You can get really super keen mirror edges on it. Like not all steels will do that. But like if I had to like pick, it would be kind of a tie between MagnaCut and CPM 15V. My friend Sean, who is he goes by Triple B Handmade. He's a custom knife maker and like essentially is like helped write the book on like modern knife metallurgy.
Mm-hmm.
He got his own Spyderco Manix 2 model that was made out of CPM 15V, and I wish I could have bought one, but I don't have the money for it. But yeah, like it. I've never actually used 15V, but I imagine that for my preferences, it's like one of the best sharpening steels that you can get.
See you, Carlos.
See you, Carlos.
Yeah, that's a really good one. Both of those are actually really good. I've got a couple of knives that are CPM. I don't remember what number at the end, but I think it's 25. I like.
There's
I also
tons of
like some sweet
CPM
steel,
steels.
like 14 CDN2. That's a Sandvik steel,
Oh yeah,
and it's so easy to sharpen, and the edge lasts really long time. But there's always like a give and take. It's not very corrosion resistant.
right. All like variations of knife steel are trade-offs. There is no one perfect knife steel. If anything gets remotely close to perfect, it's Magna Cut. And my friend, Dr. Laren Thomas, he is the guy who helped develop Magna Cut. It's essentially like if you made a tool steel, like all the sharpening properties of a tool steel, like the sharpening capability, the edge stability, all that stuff, and you made it completely stainless. So he did some amazing stuff with metallurgy to make that steel, and essentially created his own powdered metallurgy steel through his knowledge of metallurgy. And I think that is what's most popular right now. And if you're gonna get a knife right now, like be careful like who you buy your Magna Cut from, because it's not made equally. Like some guys are heat treating it maybe not to its optimum hardness, or they're not doing the best job, and some guys are doing a fantastic job on it, and it's almost a waste of money. It is a waste of money if you end up buying a softer like HRC Magna Cut knife. So just putting that caveat out there for people interested in Magna Cut. But I think it's such a cool name for a knife steel. It sounds like something out of like an 80s action movie or something,
Magna Cut, yeah.
Like a Mad Max villain or something. Gotta put some.
There's also another steel. Oh, and that's why it's funny too, because we were talking about this, the difference in steel of straight razor. Most of them are high carbon steel, no?
Yep. There's like very few examples of stainless. Boker does make a stainless. I don't know what it's made of though. I was happy that I caught you before you bought it,
right?
Because I think that it's very possible that you're going to lose out on, there it is, you're going to lose out on sharpness and sharpenability with a stainless straight razor. So the upkeep is going to be a little bit more involved, but you already have a carbon razor that you're using right now,
Yeah.
So the Boker steel is going to be a little bit more corrosive, so you kind of have to expect some water spotting and stuff like that. But just do what you can. Like keep it wiped down. Like mine has like a few like pretty good water spots on it, like towards, you can't even see them. Like it doesn't matter. Like who gives a shit? It's a tool, Like,
right.
But on that same coin, like if I'm doing an edge for you, I'm not gonna like let your razor look like that whenever I give it back to you. Like it's gonna be polished and not have water spots. So anyway, yeah, so there are stainless, there are carbon steel razors, but mostly carbon steel, and there are different variations of tool steel and carbon, like high carbon, simple carbon steels. I'm not sure of the exact like number or designation for those carbon steels, but they're mostly like either Sandvik, like Swedish, or German steel of some kind. But yeah, like they all have their own like quirks, and they all feel a little bit different. If you get a few straight razors, you're gonna notice that the edges have their own like personality. Now, I don't know if that's the case for everybody. Maybe that's just me, because like I pick up on stuff like that. But you know, it's worth saying because I think it's a cool like nuance to like straight razors that isn't talked about a whole lot.
Right, because I didn't even know until you brought it up.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like buy a straight razor, and it's like, okay, well, this steel's good. Do I what? Do you know what he means by that?
Who's that? Mark?
Yeah.
Do you kick her out? I think he's talking to Carlos. Do you kick food? Do you get food out?
Oh. Okay. Anyway,
Stainless steel are a bitch to hone.
yeah, stainless steel, like kitchen knives, like Wusthof kitchen knives, like those have their place. Like if you're gonna be like breaking down like chickens and like want to be able to like touch your knife up real quick in a kitchen, they're useful for that. But if you want any type of longevity, I don't recommend them.
Yeah.
But like stainless steel, like talking in generalities, usually doesn't have the carbide structure that a carbon steel does. Like it doesn't have the edge forming capability. It gets a bit more muddy and mushy at the edge. It usually doesn't get as hard. So, like where a carbon steel can get up to like, you know, like ideally in the 62 to 64 HRC area, you know, stainless is going to be like anywhere from 57 to 60.
Yeah.
So, and that's not including all stainless steels. That's just Finland is good.
What's up,
Hi.
Anton?
Oh yeah. Hey.
And Jack's here too.
Who cares? Jack, I don't know if you got your straight razors yet, but I did a Philly 14 and it's a Philharmonica 14. It's the most like coveted. I'm getting sidetracked. It's the most coveted straight razors in the world, I think. But yeah, I was just talking about how there are different stainless steels that have higher hardness. But anyway, so Korat, like that is supposed to mimic the Philharmonica. And Ulrich, who makes Korat, he heat treats. He has his own proprietary heat treat that is made from the blanks that the original Philharmonicas were made from, and he heat treats them to about 65 HRC, which is very hard. They get extremely sharp. He said that comes with their own downsides. Right, it's all trade-offs. If you get harder steel, it may be a little bit more brittle, or maybe it's not as tough. Like you can't use it like a pry bar, you know, which you shouldn't be doing anyway. Don't use your knife like a dumbass. But with an Emerson, for instance, you can use that like a pry bar because they intend on you doing that, right? Which is why I kind of like the idea of Emerson.
Take it easy, Mark.
We'll see you, Mark. Edge retention more often than not. Yeah, like if it's softer, the edge retention is usually going to suffer.
Birds in the house? Oh, yeah, you said you got birds in the attic.
You got, whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Depends on the Korat. He makes different styles. Mine is based off of. What I meant by that is that his heat treatment protocol and the blanks that he uses are from that like back. Well, if they're more of a Sheffield style, then maybe it is from where the Sheffields originally came from. It would be from like that same area though, because those were all made in the same part of Germany. But that dude really knows what he's doing. If I remember correctly, Lyle's Korat is like the axe grind or something like that, the style. But I think he's got the extra full hollow, which is probably what I should have gotten because my face just, it's the double bellied concave. So it's like, I don't know if you've seen those before, but there's like a hard line that goes across the blade right here.
Yeah, I think I have.
And there's a concave there and then one there. So it's like two different ones. But what that does is it creates a really rigid ridge line across the razor and makes it really stiff. And for me, that was not a good thing. It made the razor too efficient for my face. Like it just ate me up. But anyway, I don't know. It looks like you're doing great with your straight razor shaves. Like your face looks like you got a great shave. Like,
Yeah.
Do you feel like you need more, or like, are you getting closer shaves with your DE, or like, what have been your observations?
I think Happy New Year, Aaron. Take care.
Happy New Year.
I thought, I think going against the grain and across the grain too would help. That's the only reason why I think I'm getting closer shaves. But this is still close. Like this is good for a day, that's fine. That's really all I need. Because I shave every day.
Yeah, same here. And I'll be honest, the edge that I had on that was probably a little bit too sharp for me. It's going to smooth out after I strop it again. But that edge off that Wakasa is crazy. I probably, in hindsight, what I'll do with yours, which is what I did with Jack's razors, is after I shaved with them, I took them back to my pre-finisher, which is like a softer JNat, and I used my Nagura progression on that. Pretty much all of those Nagura do is like it creates a really nice Kasumi finish, which is like that sandblasted look. I'm really excited for you to see that in person because it's really beautiful. But also, it refines the edge too. You just reminded me that I needed to get my fragrance out. I've got a little decant of Johnny.
Yeah.
That I can use.
And I love this. I don't know where I have a bunch of them, but this one in particular. Oh, here's an example. So like, here's the Sterling one.
Is that like their like fragrance, or is it aftershave?
So this is the EDT in a sample. This is Sandpiper, and then there's the Gentleman's Not Johnny in a sample.
What does Sandpiper smell like?
very it's like sand. It's not sandalwood. Like that, I have their sandalwood, and it doesn't smell anything similar.
Maybe like a spicier wood or
Kinda,
something
yeah,
like that.
yeah, yeah. Definitely a little bit spicy, but not like crazy spicy.
Nuit de l'Homme, is that what it's based off of?
It might be. Yeah, no,
Cardamom
I think it's
heavy.
based off something. I don't think it's an original.
Cool. Um, so what I was saying before is what I'll do with your Boker is I'll probably do my full like progression, and then before I ship it off to you, I'm gonna take it back to the stones just to refresh it, so you get like the full sharpness, and get to experience that, which is really neat. But I do my Nagura progression, like the more coarse one, which kind of acts like a 1 to 3K on the pre-finisher, and then I'll move over to either the Shobudani or the Wakasa, and finish it with the rest of my Nagura. And that way, whenever it's shipped out to you, you'll get to experience essentially what's a full, like, natural edge. Like,
Nice.
it won't be like there won't be any remnants of the synthetic progression left on it. So it's got a really unique feeling to it. It's like people have described JNAT edges as like fuzzy and very like keen, but I don't even know if that is how I would describe it. They just feel more like surgically sharp, and there's like a really cool like smoothness to the edge that you can't really get from anything else.
They're not toothy. They're
No.
not like grass slick.
No, like I would consider like my Arkansas edge like toothier, but it's not even that's not toothy. Like I think where you get toothy edges is for me they're like less refined Arkansas edges, or like super crazy synthetic edges sometimes can be toothy. Like a Nasset is what I would consider a toothy edge. Like it's got some more bite to it than like you can feel like teeth, like they're appreciable. They're just not, it's not like it's uncomfortable or anything.
Right, yeah.
Anyway, so yeah,
So you suggest not stropping now and strop on when I go to shave tomorrow.
yeah, I would just experiment with it. Like it's everyone's experience is a little bit different. If you want to strop afterwards, that's your prerogative. But what I've been taught here recently is that you should wait between shaves, but make sure you wipe down the blade good. Like especially with the Boker that you're getting. What I do after I shave is I take microfiber and I strop the edge on it so it gets it nice and dry.
Yeah, that's what.
And you can also take some toilet paper to it and all that good stuff. So, anyway, yeah, I know that question is probably gonna trigger some contention with some people, because it's like some people are very opinionated about whether you should strop or not before and after. And I've just recently come to the conclusion that I don't need to after I strop, but I also like hone my razors all the time. So I don't have all the answers for that. I think like it's right. Find what works for you, and that's really like your mileage may carry comes into play so much with straight razors. Like, if you find that the edges are not getting where you want them, yeah, just make sure the blade is dry. Yeah, very true. If you're finding that your edges are not getting as smooth as you want, or they're not getting as sharp as you need them between your shaves and stuff, maybe you can try stropping afterwards. Like, that's up to you. But in my experience, which I have a lot of experience doing this now, I think, not to say like my opinion matters more, but like in the amount of experience that I haven't noticed an appreciable difference between stropping before and after and not stropping in between. Like, you could literally do both and pretty much get the same result, right? Like, it's not, I don't know. Like, if it makes you feel better, like, strop afterwards, you know? So that's just what the guys have been telling me in this honing group that I'm in. Like, you don't really need to strop in between your shaves, other than before yeah. I just strop before my next shave.
Yeah.
So yeah. So
Cool. Good stuff.
the idea behind that is that when you get done shaving, the edge is all fucked up and does some weird stuff, and
You want to smooth it
that
out.
time in between, it allows it to kind of like straighten back up again a little bit. Like, even if it's on like an atomic level, um, I I personally know that that's true. That steel does relax whenever it's left alone. It does straighten. But what you don't want to do, like, according to the people who will tell you to not strop after you're done straight razor shaving, is that you're stropping like the edge that's all messed up, and it needs time to relax and be more straight, so you can get it into its final straightening, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, see, Art likes to before and after, and that's cool, man. Like, I don't see anything wrong with it. And in fact, like, you know, I think like whenever I was doing that, I felt like my edges felt a little bit smoother. So like, if that's what you need from your edges, like, that's, that's on you, like,
I guess my
at first
question was, can you overstrop? Like, is that
yeah,
a possibility?
yeah. I mean, that's definitely something that happens. It will. If I were you, I would order a cheap little loop off of Amazon, so you can kind of look at your edges in between your shaves and stuff.
That's what Doug was
Look
saying.
at it
Yeah.
when you first get a brand new edge and be like, okay, like, this is what the edge looks like. And then after you strop, you look at it and you're like, okay, that's what that looks like. And then whenever it starts to feel like it's getting a little bit dull, look at it again, and then you can kind of like make comparisons on what it is that's happening at the edge, what it looks like, so you know when you're stropping too much.
Makes sense, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not really like the, there's no like end all be all on this, and I think like people strop differently. They strop with different amounts of pressure, and some people will recommend stropping more. Some people will recommend stropping less. And I think like it's completely dependent on your preference and how you strop. So you got to figure out what works out for you. Like, just start with like the minimum amount and go up from there. Like, figure that out. And I know it's especially precarious for new straight razor shavers that aren't like honing their own razors.
Yeah, we were talking about that last night, Jack, the material that you strop on.
Yeah. So the idea behind the material you strap on is so it straightens the edge out. Um, you don't want to be removing steel. If you're doing that, you're probably, the edge is like this, and then it turns into this, okay? And that can cause accidents to happen. Now, like, I personally really, this is what I was talking to you about, Sully, was this is fire hose. This is vintage fire hose from, I think, the 60s or 70s. But you can get this, like, at a bunch of places. There's a lot of guys that know how to work this material. Like, you have to be able to, like, wash it properly and everything. But what's really great about fire hose linen is that it's a pretty fast draw, meaning that whenever you do a lap on it, like, it doesn't feel like it's grabbing the steel.
Okay.
And it's really just good at aligning the edge. Like, that's essentially what you want. And then, you know, with your final leather, I've actually burnished the leather on this English bridle, and it quickened the draw on it. So there's less, like, metal being grabbed by the leather, and it's straightening more, and I find the edges are better that way. Like, I'm kind of experimenting a little bit, you know, with all that stuff, but I think I'm leaning towards liking more fast draw stuff because it doesn't remove material. You can be kind of more cavalier about your stropping that way. He's saying, though, different materials provide different levels of resistance. That's what I mean, and that resistance will often translate into steel being removed on some level. Like, there's no, like, with friction, you're moving something. Like, even if it's not, like, removing the material, it's burnishing it in an appreciable way. Burnishing is moving the steel rather than cutting it.
Right.
And you can move steel enough to where it's not, like, as sharp of a point anymore, and it's more convex, right? So I know that's a lot of information to take in, but
No, I got it. I'm keeping up.
Cordovan is, Jack just mentioned Cordovan is horsehide leather, and it's known for having a really fast draw to it and being really consistent. And I think that that's, like, ideal. Like, my ideal setup would be the fire hose that I have and a Cordovan to finish with. But, you know, I think the English bridle is great too. Like, you can get a really nice draw from both. Yeah, so, like, I've essentially, by burnishing the top of this leather with a piece of bone, I've turned it into something that's very close to Cordovan. So I've left this one, like, not burnished because I kind of like having something in between. But that's some nerd shit. Like, you don't need to do that.
Hey, Howard.
So for one, jet maneuvers, if you can find a Kanayama, good luck. They're very expensive. They're like hundreds of dollars. Can you please explain the ping test on hair for sharpness testing? Yeah, I can do that. I'll get up with you afterwards, but Mark is coming out with Due North Strops. He's coming out. This is his product right here. This beautiful piece of I really love his handle design on this.
I never seen that on any of the strops that I was looking at. It's so unique.
But yeah, this is English Bridal, which has like a medium to slow draw. Um, he does all this like cool saddle stitching and stuff, and it's got suede on the back. Um, really cool, like classy strap, if that's what you're into. Um, there's also Tomo Nagura on Etsy, which is Keith V. Johnson, and he sells horsehide. Um, there's I can't remember the names of the other guys that make Cordovan straps, but they're maybe not going to be on the same level as a Kaneyama strap because he like had his own process in like tanning the leather and tanning the hides and getting them to the perfect like texture and all that stuff. He said, I bear in mind though, it's 2.5 inches wide, meaning that you'd have to pretty much X drop every razor. That's a great point. And if you want something that you know is going to be 3 inches, Mark's strap is 3 inches wide. This one was 2 3/4, which I think is, and honestly, a really great length too, because most razors aren't over 2 3/4 inches or even 3 inches. I don't know. Something to think about for sure. But I highly recommend the. So Keith also sells the fire hose. So the fire hose and like whatever you choose to get, you know, as far as like your strapping material. Like I can highly recommend Mark's bridle, like without a doubt. I can't speak for all these other guys that make straps, but I know Keith's stuff is like tested, and he puts a lot of time into this stuff. It may not be like the same like you know level of beauty as what Mark does, but he definitely puts a lot of time into like its utility, right? Like that's what you're paying for is like testing R&D. Which the same thing's going into Mark straps too. It's just like it's just a different product. Like he's just like all function, very little form. So the
hair test.
ping test on the hair.
Yeah.
So I have like kind of figured out my own system for this. There is kind of like a way to cut the hair. I'm thinking about stropping this just so I can like show you like don't expect your razor to be able to pass hanging hair after you've used it. You need to strop it again before it can do that again. This one probably will do it because of how sharp it is. So I've got one of my hairs right here, and you want to find the root end, and you want that root end to face out, because if you face it towards your razor, there's all these little like the way a hair is constructed, there's these little spines that stick out on the hair, and it's really easy to just catch it and like that's it. But if you turn the hair around, it doesn't have that, and it's much, much harder to pass hanging hair test that way. So you want your root end facing away, and you kind of want to put it under the hair and like cut at like an angle towards the hair that's laying over it. It's kind of a feel thing, but
is
really sharp.
Immediately pop, or are you actually going to feel it when it catches?
It will bite in. Yeah, it will bite in, and you can kind of feel it bite into the hair, and then you can kind of just go bing, and it's gone. But some edges are so keen that you literally won't even feel it cut through the hair, and those are scary. Like, I've only had one edge do that for me, and it was the edge that I did for Kirk from the Cutthroat Journey. And actually, the razors I did for Jack were like this too. I could not feel them pass the test. Like, there's also some guys will say like it passes out at this length away and this length away and then closer to the fingers because it's easier to cut once it gets some rigidity like towards your fingertips. So they have like different levels in that, but I just go by feel really. Like if it's just like lasering through the hair and you can't hear it, or if it's cutting through the hair and it's like it's slicing, that's like ideal. Like, but you know, if you can just hang it underneath and it goes bing, that's probably going to give you a great shave too. So like, more power to you, you know.
Nice. Yeah, some good information.
Yeah, I mean, I recommend Chris Jet Maneuvers. I recommend getting a 3-inch drop at first because it's just easier to learn on. If you've not had a ton of experience like stropping, like I've been sharpening for like 10 years now, going like over 10 years at this point. So I'm used to doing all this stuff. Like I don't expect someone that's new to it to be able to like pick it up right away and be able to do the X strokes. I don't know. Does that need any explanation? Anybody to how to do an X stroke or like what you're feeling for while you're stropping or anything like that? Like is all that stuff making sense to you at this point, Sully?
I get it. Yeah, I get it.
Okay.
I know what the X stroke is. Thankfully, the gold dollar fits perfectly on the one that came with it. Obviously, it was probably intended for it, but
Turn on the spine. Yeah.
yeah.
One thing I do want to mention. Let me grab a straight razor real quick that's not just been shaved with. So I'm gonna put this up here. I keep all my strops like on one ring because like I use all of them, but we'll just use this. So I don't know if you guys can see that. So like whenever you're stropping and you've got like a smile in the blade, that's when you'll sometimes want to do kind of an X stroke. And what that looks like is when you go up, you're moving towards the corner of the strop. And then you flip on the spine and you move down to the other corner. Okay? So you can also, if you're just doing like essentially what's called like a chisel stroke, like this, if you need to concentrate on a particular area of the blade that's maybe not getting as sharp as you want it to, you can either put some pressure towards the heel of the blade or towards the tip of the blade. You just kind of have to feel for it. Like, it just, it's like torquing it a little bit to get like the spot that you want. That's.
So Anton was asking, at what point is the blade dull that stropping does not help?
I would say the point where you get cut. Yeah, like where it feels unpleasant to shave with the razor. That's the point in which you should send it out to be honed. Yeah, I haven't thought much about that, honestly, like, because I don't have to deal with that like most people do. But yeah, like when it feels bad. Um, if it's not cutting to your liking anymore, that's usually a good indication that you need to send it out for a honing, because stropping does not fix anything. It can only improve the foundation that's been laid, right? Like it it essentially rounds the bevel so that there's a point again. And I don't know, like that's the biggest takeaway is like stropping is never going to fix anything. It's not going to fix a bad edge. It's only going to exacerbate what's already there. So when you see guys like stropping their knives for like years, they're not it's not cutting as well as it should be. If it's tight, strop it. If it doesn't fix it, it needs to be honed. Yeah. If it's tuggy, okay. I figured that's what you meant.
Yeah, because I noticed that like 2 shaves ago, where I hadn't done as many strops as just now, you can definitely feel it cutting through a lot easier.
Yeah, and I mean that was really intuitive of you to pick up on that. Like I don't know. I think like people will often overstrop their edges, like, and that will eventually cause it to get more rounded, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, the fact that you like waited a little bit was good, but just thinking back on my
Yeah.
epic failure that I posted with my first straight razor experience, thinking what the well, there could have been a lot of things that went wrong, like if the edge wasn't honed properly before you got it. Like that's the biggest thing. Like a lot of edges are sent out as like shave ready, but they're not. That's unfortunately that's the case. Um, I mean, you want to send it to a reputable source, and you know, try to shave with the edge straight out of the box if you're not comfortable with stropping. But I do recommend sometimes to strop it while the edge has been in like transit, just in case like anything's gotten out of alignment. So I mean, I don't think you can really fuck up like a really well honed edge unless you're using like a super abrasive stropping material. That's the only way I can see that happening.
That's good to know.
But yeah, I don't know how much more I got on this. You guys are thinking of some great questions.
Yeah, we're having bad technique. Yeah.
So, like, as far as technique goes, I've told people this, like, I've told you, like, you can like practice with like a pin.
Yep. I've been doing also the back of the spine.
Yeah. Is it a 30-degree angle? No. It is the angle that feels most comfortable to you. If so, especially with a shorter razor like this, um, I don't know. I don't know if I can like. I'm seeing Jack's comment. No, it's completely flat. On a stone, it's completely flat because your angle is the spine.
Yeah.
Okay. But sometimes you need to.
For shaving, Jack.
Yeah,
No.
for shaving, you need to cock out the spine a little bit, just off of the skin, so that it begins to shave. Now, like any more than that, you risk cutting yourself and just scraping your skin. So I
Dude,
hope
I
that's
feel the
helpful.
difference too. Like when I'm like way out here, I can really feel when it's scraping versus actually cutting through.
Oh yeah, like it's actually painful. Yeah, like it depends on the grind. So one thing to keep in mind with these super short razors like this versus this is like a 5/8. I don't know if that's a 5/8. This is like a 4/8.
Is that like the JJ Shorty thing?
But this is a 6/8. Okay, you can see how much difference there
Yeah.
is in the height of the blade. The how high the all right. So the taller the blade, the less hard it is to mess your angle up. Like, not to say that you can just shave out here and it's fine. It's the angle changes much more quickly with a shorter distance between the spine and the edge because that distance is so small.
I see.
This does not, the angle doesn't change as easily. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So here, I'm gonna strop this. This is my edge that I used yesterday. I got a little bit of water on this, so I want to make sure it's dry. And I can do a hanging hair test for you guys to kind of show you what I mean. But I'm gonna do what I normally do, which is 25 on this. So one lap is back and forth.
So fast. You flip the blade so fast.
What?
You flip the blade like so fast. That's crazy.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you don't need to go fast. Going fast makes accidents happen.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can do it slow, like. We really don't need to strop this much.
You do want. Okay. Interesting. Because I was always trying to make it like as tight as possible. Jack said you want a slight bow in the strop.
Well, that's a preference thing. I like it tight. That's just me, but not everyone does. So, and that's okay. All right, so we'll finish up. So what I like to do is I do like 25 on this, and then I'll do like, I don't know, like 15 on this guy because it's got a little bit more draw to it. Okay, and then I'll finish up with like a few on this one that's got faster draw. You can hear the difference. Much smoother. Strops are going to break in too. They get faster over time.
So you're not actually twisting the razor in your fingers, are you? You're just moving your wrist.
No, I am.
Oh,
I'm doing that.
okay.
Like this. Here, I'll do it in slow-mo.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there it is. There it is.
All right, so it should pass hanging hair at this point. Okay, I've found the root. and I'm going to face it out. Okay. And now, just going to go for the heel first, just to check it. I couldn't even feel that. So that edge is like nasty sharp again. So you could hear that, right?
Mm-hmm.
You hear the little ting?
Mm-hmm.
So some portions of the blade are going to be a little bit more vocal. And right now, like, because the hair is not like laying over, it's not wanting to catch, but it got it right there. And you can kind of do it at an angle. You know, that this edge is ready to shave again. So that's how I test for it. I test it all the way from the heel to the tip. Don't beat yourself up if it's not passing to the degree that you want it to, because it's probably fine. I'm just like a weirdo perfectionist. And it's my job. It's literally what I do for a living. So, but yeah, what were we saying before that whole deal? I don't remember.
Was it drop really? I don't remember either. Before the hanging hair test.
I feel like I had a point about it, or it's just the hanging hair test is a way that I would say, though, that the hanging hair test isn't a hard and fast rule. It's not. It's not one, and it's just a visual and like physical, like feedback, like a touch kind of feedback that I can use to figure out if my edges are ready to be shipped out to somebody. I've used razors that pass hanging hair tests that shave poorly. Yeah, like they can be super keen, but not be smooth. Like, I mean, that also, though, like if you have a razor like that, it's probably best if you don't use as much pressure with it, which can be difficult sometimes. Sometimes I get in trouble with that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, like that, like pressure can often fix an edge that's way too sharp, feeling really, reducing the angle, great call, reduce the angle that you're shaving at and use less pressure. That will make the edge feel less crazy, you know? So, I don't know if I got anything else. We've talked a lot. Look, Carlos is back, and he's...
Carlos. Hope you enjoyed your dinner, Carlos. There's...
The beauty of a straight is that there's a rigid blade that doesn't have a safety bar, no limitations. Yeah. There's something extremely thrilling about using a straight razor for me.
Yeah,
and
that too.
It makes me not want to use my DEs because of that. Like, I don't get the same excitement from the experience anymore.
Like, I actually want to use the straight razor more than I do the DEs, so I can become more proficient at it, because I enjoy the process of it more. Just because it's also more challenging to do. I mean, at first.
Yeah, and whenever you get really good at it, like you're just whipping it around and it's like it's nothing anymore. Yeah, I mean, you look like you're really getting the hang of it, and like kudos to you, man.
Thanks.
But you know, once you get to that point, like I feel like that's where I start to kind of lose my interest in using DEs, unless like I really need to shave for some reason, which doesn't usually happen. Like, it's like, oh, I got to knock a shave out real quick. It's like, I want to sit down and enjoy the ritual of the whole thing, stropping, checking the sharpness, like stretching my skin and like really focusing on what I'm doing, right? Like it's it's such a powerful mindfulness activity to engage in. Because it demands all of your attention. If you're not that kind of person, don't get a straight razor. Like, if you're just some like idiot that can't handle paying attention to something, like, don't get one. Because it's not for you, bro. You're gonna get hurt.
Right. Yeah. You definitely need patience and an attention span longer than 10 seconds.
Big lightning strike. Sorry. And there's the thunder. Look at that lightning strike right there. Flash perfumery.
I think I might try that shave with nothing else other than the straight.
I did it for like a year. Like, essentially a year. Wow, that was mean, Seth, calling me an idiot. I didn't call you an idiot at all. In fact, I think that you are I think people don't give themselves enough credit, and they don't give themselves a chance to do something because they don't feel like they're capable of doing it. Like, it's just like you have it in you to do it. You just, maybe you aren't feeling it, and that's fine. Like, I don't buy the whole like I just don't like straight razors argument. Like, if you really got to use one and in the right circumstances, there's no way that you won't like it. Like, it's like one of the coolest fucking things that you can do.
Yeah.
Last year,
I was on Tobin's Live the other night, and that's what I said. That's what got me into wet shaving, period, was straight razors, because I thought they were always cool, and it was fascinating. I was like, oh, I want to learn how to do that. And I didn't even know about DEs at first. Like, I didn't come from, oh, I hate cartridges. I've had such terrible experience with cartridges, because I didn't really care, to be honest. It didn't bother me.
Mm-hmm.
But just the whole thing, the whole straight razor thing just got me into, I was like, all right, let's go down this rabbit hole a little bit.
And I'll tell you, if you need like a straight edge fix, these are great for that. These are also great for that. The vintage gym razors, and not just the Camisori. I actually don't recommend this because there's nothing covering the blade. Whenever it's not in use, so it's kind of a pain in the ass. I would recommend getting one that actually has like the scales. But these are very fun to use, even if like someone like me who doesn't want to use a DE most of the time. This is great for me because it's like it's its own thing entirely.
Yeah, I haven't used a gem before. What exactly is it?
So I will show you. This is a gym push button, and it's got a button on the back here.
Oh.
And it pops open, and it uses these blades that look like paint scraping blades.
Yeah.
And don't mistake them for the regular paint scraping blades, because they're not the same. I think TRC actually stocks them now.
Okay.
So if you get a gym, you're kind of in luck, because there was a moment there where they weren't available unless you got them on like eBay or whatever. But there's hardly any blade gap. Well, there's a decent amount, but it's very smooth and like mild, but it's super efficient, like stupid efficient. And that's what I love about it, because it feels like exciting to use because of that. But Jack recommended the Overlander because that's another razor that acts like that, where it's like super mild but very efficient. So if that's like your thing, if you like DEs and you want that experience, that's one I can definitely recommend in that category.
Holding up?
What?
You had something else. You said the gem, and then there was another thing you were holding up.
Yeah, so this is a feather. It's a camisori. I can't remember what it's called. It's a shavette though. It uses these blades. They come. This is the Schick P30. This is like the sharpest Artist Club style blade. This is what this is called. Is the Feather Artist Club. That's what this is called. And they use these kinds of blades. It's like an injector style thing where so there's like a hole right there.
Yep.
And you put this, the male side, into this female side, and you pinch the back, and then you slide that into there. Okay? But what's cool about these, and this is why barbers and stuff use these, is that you can take them apart. Me dropping things. That's canon. They're very, they're not going to get damaged. But you can take them apart and actually like sanitize them completely. Yeah. So I like to use these for like trimming up, my sideburns, or like removing like lots of hair at one time. If you have to do that, I feel like it's better than using like a electric trimmer. But you can get these like. What's cool about these is like you can get blades like this that have guards on them.
Mm-hmm.
So there's much less risk of you getting cut. See how there's like those little guys going across the blade, which make them really friendly for like body shaving and stuff like that. So, but these are kind of expensive now. Like you're gonna probably pay like $60 to $120 on these, depending on the season. Like the actual razor itself, but they're really high quality. It's like an actual tool for a barber. So the downside of these, the blade is insanely sharp with no safety bar. The way the clamping is designed is such that there's no flex. It can really cut you up. Yeah.
So you just got to be extra careful with it.
So, right. What's cool about this particular design, like the DX, if I remember properly, it's just flat. These actually have like a scoop out like that, and then you have your edge down here, which acts like a safety bar. So you can literally put this thing flat to your skin, and it stretches your skin like a safety bar does.
Oh,
So that's what's cool about these.
Cool.
I think it's I can't remember the designation on these though.
And so what is that? What is the difference between that and a WEC?
So a WEC doesn't have any guard at all. Like it is just, it's got like a hollow spine, and then you inject this into the spine. I have a WEC blade right here.
I see.
This is like a hair shaper blade.
Uh-huh.
So it's essentially like a little straight razor. But yeah, like there's no guard.
A laser.
They are lasers. What's up, Mark? Yeah, the WECs actually aren't all that scary for me for whatever reason. Like I feel like I've had more issues with the artist club style ones, but I don't know. That could just be me. They're all lasers. Like, all machine ground blades are lasers. Like, if you have an expectation that a straight razor is going to shave exactly like a machine ground razor or a machined razor blade, you have to temper your expectations. It's not the same thing at all. Because these are not meant to be used and like honed later. They're meant to be used a couple times and thrown away. So the metallurgy that's going on is like completely different ball game. He says that's why I don't recommend them just buy a straight. Yeah, you can go down this whole rabbit hole of like figuring out which blades work for you. Just get a straight razor. Like that's all there is to it. Like, get it honed by someone that you trust. Get a nice strop and be done with it. Like, you can then, like, if you want to later on, get like a little like touch-up stone or something that can give you a little bit more life. Have I spoken about traditional camisories? No. And there's a good reason for that. Like, I just don't have the experience with traditional camisories that I do with like Western straight razors.
What's the difference? What's the traditional camisori?
So, all right. So imagine this. And one side is completely hollow. All right. I don't know if you guys have seen what's called like a Yanagiba or a Deba. Those are Japanese fish knives. And it's a traditional style of grinding because they grind their knives on a big wheel. One side is hollow, like it's like hollowed out, and then one side is either got like a big flat face on it, with like a little tiny micro bevel, or it's just completely flat on the face like a chisel.
Yeah, I think Doug was showing that on the last live he jumped on. If I'm not mistaken. It had like on the very edge of it had like an angle.
Right. Yeah. And the thing about camisori is that they're not very like beginner friendly. The toes on them are really sharp. They're meant to be used, I feel like, with one hand by a barber, because of that, like that scooped out side, and then like the reason why they're ground that way is because it helps you get a more acute angle at the edge. You like, if say you have a triangle like this,
Mm-hmm.
and you scooped out part of it and it came to a point down here, that angle is going to be a lot more shallow than this right here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's the whole idea behind them, and they get very sharp. They just don't have like the flex. The barber will change positions from left to right, though. Yeah, they're not really meant to be used like on yourself traditionally, but you can, and people get good results with them. They're just not very practical.
Later, Mark.
See you, Mark.
Yeah, awesome information, man. Thank you. I appreciate you taking the time to hop on the live with me. I know we didn't really plan for how long we were going to go, but just awesome.
Yeah.
And thank you.
If you gotta go, man, like, I totally get it. Like, we've been going for a long time now. I'm happy to do this anytime. Like, anytime anybody wants to get on a live stream and straight razor shave, just hit me up in the DMs. I don't bite. Thank you, Sully, for having me on your live stream. And if you guys could, like, please send Raza, your condolences, and participate in this this hashtag. Like, as small of a as a thing it is, like, I think like it's a nice gesture, and it will at least give him something that will take his mind off of the terrible situation that he's dealing with right now. So the hashtag is "We Love You, Raza." So the idea is that you're using things that he likes or he's designed, like label art, soaps that he uses. We used Johnny today because we saw that on his page. So yeah, I think that's it.
Cool. All right, man. Thank you. Thank you, everybody who came in. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you, Sully.
Yep.
Thanks, Chris.
Have a good night.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Peace.